Hey guys, and welcome. I'm a Rubber Duck War, and today I lead the mighty cavalry charge of Khorne. We are going in Last Samurai style up against Boris Urson and his forces of Kislev. We've gone for a full cav build with one or two lucky doggos in there for a bit of a mix-up. So let's delve into this battle. In the distance, you can see some flesh hounds of Khorne. We're not going to be too focused or worried about them today because look at this glorious charge. Our opponent thinks we're beaten and we're done. We shall still face them man to man, demon to bear. It is blood crushers as well as skull crushers all the way along. We have 3 of each. Personally, I think the skull crushers are a little bit overpriced and not very good for their cost in comparison to the blood crushers, who are far more effective at a cheaper cost. We'll have to see if that is proven true or false here today. In the battle line with a Herald of Khorne, he himself is going to be riding one of the juggernauts of chaos. Flesh, Beast, and Fury all surged into one beastie. We have the Revel in Slaughter ability and the Hellblade, and that's going to be it for our build. Relatively simple all round. I can pretty much guarantee you guys can see the one tactic we're going for here. As for my opponent, he has a lot of problems for us to contend with on this flank. We have double warbears, including Boris and a Patriarch. That alone, that combo right there, can probably destroy 90% of my army if I get caught out in the wrong positions. I need to isolate these warbears and take them down as quickly and swiftly as possible. Main battle line is Corsair Spears and Armored Corsairs as well. Got some Streltsy in the back, nothing too fancy, but I do love Streltsy. They're such a beautiful unit all around, and the fact they can shoot their guns and just whip out their axes, I need one of these made for me in real life so I can hang it behind my wall during live streams. With a Frost Maiden of Ice Magic coming in with the standard pick of course, the Heart of Winter, but likewise a Ice Maiden's Kiss. She looks pretty damn awesome on her steed here. I love the little cloak draped over, as well as the horse's armor in general. So without further ado, let's get this battle well and truly under the way. As you can guess, it is a bloody and fast and furious affair. There's only one way this is going to go, and that is with death and carnage on all sides. So I'm charging forwards Leroy Jenkins style towards the opponent, screaming a battle cry, death, 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 as we charge forward. Get ready for glorious battle. My opponent is trying to reorganize his warbears a bit. I mean, trying to pull my units away from the warbears. I don't want to fight them one-on-one because we will simply get destroyed. Instead, I'm going to go after my opponent's infantry in the early game here. We have Skull Crushers charging in, as well as the Blood Crushers. And though the brave men and women of Kislev can attempt to hold the line, it's only so much you can do against sheer overwhelming cavalry charges, and the enemy infantry is getting ripped to shreds. I'm falling back to the Skull Crushers, getting chased away by the double warbears. Now, this could well be my time. I see that they're looking to swoop in and surround me, so I attempt to surround the warbears back, and it looks like we are going to get a 3-on-1 engagement down here on the side, which is just what I want. I'm going to burst down the warbears as quickly as possible. Unfortunately for me, the Patriarch's nearby. He's going to be healing up his bears at all times. The lovely flesh hounds do dive into the back, shutting down the Streltsy, who find themselves, outwitted and outsmarted by some chaotic beasts. They do have their axes. They have turned around, starting to cleave into the flesh hounds, but they've taken significant damage already. That's not going to be going well for them whatsoever. We do get a big fat surround on the mighty warbear riders, who are getting buffed. Likewise, I come with the Locust of Wrath. Shardblade is doing significant damage to my troops. With the Locust of Wrath going down, we're easily able to tear apart this unit of warbears. The second one also getting overwhelmed, so both the warbears pretty much off the table at the moment. Corsairs are still lining up shots and unleashing hell upon us, though many of their numbers are starting to break and run away. Fleshhounds, they did a lot of initial good damage to the Streltsy, but now those brave men of Kislev have kind of stabilized themselves a little bit and calmed down. They're able to really whip into the Fleshhounds and start to drag them to pieces. We have more Skull Crushers driving into the back, this time looking to hunt down the Streltsy, led by their mighty liege lord, the Herald of Khorne, bellowing orders, with me lads, now with me, into them once more, and we charge directly into the Streltsy, screaming a bloody war cry. Corsair Spears are attempting to hold back Skull Crushers, although it seems like, the Corsair's actually doing a pretty decent job there. Skull Crushers not being able to carve their way through the enemy too quickly. Big fat Heart of Winter goes down. I am able to circumvent the worst of the damage there, but wherever Boris goes and the Patriarch, I suffer greatly. Streltsy do look like they're finally going to be faltering. I'm trying to bounce around using my ability of speed, considering I've got mass cavalry, to really hit my opponent where it hurts. But at the end of the day, I'm eventually going to have to fight Boris, though I do not want to. There are some warbears who have come back on either side. Looks like 7 models. That's certainly not too shabby. 4 models on the other unit is a little less impressive. We do drive in here now, looking to try to surround Boris as well as the Patriarch. I come in with a Horn of Khorne, so plus 24 melee attack in an attempt to drag down the leadership core here of Kislev, and it is not going well. I simply cannot get through their thick hide. It's almost as if a giant bear god is protecting them somewhere out there in the world, and I am trying my hardest to kill the enemy characters, doing some little bits of damage, I guess, to the Frost Maiden. With the battle hymn popped and stand your ground, I decide, you know what, I'm going to give up on this and fall back once again and try and jump onto isolated targets, getting a ripping and tearing into the Kossar spears. Flesh Hounds, their main job today is to hunt down Streltsy and just try to shatter them so they don't come back, because they can do a decent amount of damage at long range and really whip and zip some shots into my units. Streltsy have raid in the distance as well. They need to turn and start to engage. Herald of Khorne is yeeting the hell out of there. I do not want to fight Boris 1v1. We do have some SKULLCRUSHERS nearby, but there is also a Patriarch and a Frost Maiden on hot pursuit. In the distance, we are shattering off this unit of Warbears with the Blood Crushers, who are now imbued by the chaotic powers of Khorne and going into a bit of a blood frenzy, increasing their melee attack. The Warbears are ripping into the Flesh Hounds, who are attempting to flee back here to the double SKULLCRUSHERS. And hopefully the SKULLCRUSHERS will be able to deal with just the 7 Warbears. Despite their bonus versus large, we outnumber them so heavily. I'm hoping we're able to drag them down relatively quickly. Balance Fire is against us, though. You can see the Herald is fleeing for his life. And once again, that really deadly ability is going to be coming in. The Ice Shard, or Shard Blade, I should say. I always call it Ice Shard for some reason. From Boris is draining and sapping the strength from my mighty warriors. Many of them are falling before his might and fleeing to save their own skin. And though we have the Blood Crushers charging back in, as well as the Herald standing firm, there is simply too many enemies nearby. Armored Corsairs are the only real infantry unit left alive, but the Hero and Lord Corps is really scary. We have more Streltsy coming back and more Warbears as well. Everyone moving in for this final engagement, and in come the Blood Crushers of Khorne. Skulls for the Skull Throne, blood for the Blood God, bread for the Dark God as they charge in there. A little bit slow here, they are knackered. And they do pick up a little bit of pace there, trying to take down 1 or 2 more manlings before we do get sapped back into the warp. Or maybe there's hope yet, because the Herald is trying to decapitate this Ice Witch and take her from her steed, as well as focus down at this Patriarch, who is healing up the nearby lads. It's general to get his buffs off the battlefield. The Patriarch taking quite a few hits here, but it's a little bit too little too late. Army losses kicks in, and that is going to be well played to my opponent, who does drag us down here. Good fun game though, went for the full cav, attempted to make it work. I was inspired by Stormrunner, who had done a couple of full cav builds on stream with me. I've not yet seen it win. I've seen it do good. I mean, we did decent here. Realistically, my opponent's infantry is dead. There's a few haggard units left around, but if it was just them left like 1 unit, I'd easily be able to cycle charge them to death. The real problem with it seems to be taking down, hero cores and big scary single entities. You just don't have the burst damage to really do that. We of course did attempt to do it with the Warbears, with the buffs and the rebel slaughter from the Herald of Khorne. It worked well, but then there's Boris and a Patriarch, and it becomes a bit of a nightmare. Once again, well played to my opponent. I can't remember who it is. We played a couple of games on stream. I think we played 1 game, and then we played a domination game against each other. And I believe I was able to get my revenge on that one. So it was a viewer who watched me on live stream. So well played to you. Apologies, I can't see your name. The replays, of course, don't have the names on them at the moment. It was a good fun game as well. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a big old fat thumbs up. Subscribe as well for more content into the future. It really helps out massively. As well as commenting down below what you thought of the game, what you'd like to see in the future, and all that good stuff. Hopefully I'll still have a game every single day this week, or a video at least. Unfortunately, I am on antibiotics right now, and they make me rather ill. So hopefully I'll be fine to cast games. So there may be 1 or 2 videos short this week. Only time will tell. Loads of links as well in the description to Twitch, Patreon, and Discord. Patreon's where you can support the channel financially, and Discord is where you can send in replays and get involved in tournaments and live streams and all that good stuff. So guys, until next time, peace, and as always, stay forth.